Hey, hello. I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles TV. Hey, it's BOLES. On television, it's Bowles.tv. And yes, I'm in the dark. It's very, very strange what's going on, but this is part of the fun of doing a live stream, right? Oh, I'm looking at myself. Oh, it's dark in here. The darkness. The darkness is everywhere. So we have this new camera, the Facecam Elgato Facecam Pro 4K, 8K, whatever it is. It gives you a larger space, screen. Yes, looks good. And very sensitive. Now we see, this is a new camera. We had it less than a week. Very sensitive to light. Even when we turn off auto brightness. We turned off autofocus because that was causing us a lot of problem with our ASL show. But now, as you can see, the darkness surrounds us. And I'm not exactly sure what to do about it. I believe the problem is with this shirt, which, as you can tell, is a University of Nebraska Lincoln football shirt. NU, nobody ever calls it NU. That's Northwestern University, not UNL. But this is a white shirt with camo. Now, usually I wear regular colors on this show, never really a white shirt, and on television for many years. The rule was never to wear white on television because it makes the camera go crazy and because it tears. That's the technical term, meaning that it oversaturates, it becomes a bright white spot, and it tears on the screen. Okay. But the modern technology seems to allow a bit of white. And if you're going to wear white, it should be a cream color white. And with our old Elgato camera, just the regular camera, I could wear this shirt and not have a problem. And I realized, I sat down, I said, why is everything so dark? And I looked at my shirt, and I got up from my chair and walked away, and the whole scene brightened up. And I thought, okay, now I know. Now I know what's going on. So then I did a little informal test. Oh, and also, you also don't want to wear a herringbone pattern on TV, at least in the 80s and the 90s, because that would create a moire effect, which is kind of like makes your eye go crazy. Or, really small checks, like white and black checkerboard pattern, makes the camera go crazy. So I thought, let me do a little experiment. And I'm calling this a magic trick that I'm going to perform for you right now. Live and in person, not from the Omaha Civic Auditorium. So here I am. This is a bright white shirt under two big lights. We have a light down there. We have a light down there. Can't see it. So what I'm going to do is to magically brighten up the whole screen, even though auto brightness is not turned on. It's ridiculous. Here we go. I'm beginning the process. Magic trick. Oh, look, it's already happening. Oh my, look. A black towel to obliterate the whiteness of my shirt. I have two of them. We use these towels for everything. For hair cutting, for cleaning things up. And now look. Now my face is almost too perfect looking, too bright. And you can see the light over there in the corner. You can see the light down here. You can see the light, amber light there, purple light back there. It's like we're doing a regular show. It's like we're doing a regular show. Well, what am I supposed to do with my University of Nebraska stuff? Here's the rest of the magic trick. And voila, lights out. So then I thought, I wear lately 2 shirts. This one and my red one. So I thought, I wonder if I switched to my red shirt, if that would make any difference whatsoever in the problems that we're having. Here's my red shirt. Putting it on. Not much different. It's sort of the same problem. And I think it's because of the bright white. The camera is very sensitive to it. It means we have a very good camera. The other camera we had, I guess, wasn't good enough to really sense bright white and would just not react. There would be no reaction whatsoever. You just sit there and it would not react. So I guess we've made the aesthetic choice today to sort of be in the dark. I find it very weird. Since it's Friday, I'm going to look at myself on screen. Well, I guess on screen, watching myself on Twitter, it's not terrible, but not as good as this. Yeah. Yeah. Now, some people say this is the best look ever, which is this. Just do the show like that. Cover your face. We've seen enough. We've had enough of Desmac enough. It's not my quote. It's Jerry Schoenfeld's quote. So what else is going on? Well, I will tell you what else is going on. You can't see me. Magic trick. Trying to get it all to work right. None of it's working right. Sort of working right. I could just, do this every once in a while to break up the monotony of the show. Perfect lighting. Terrible lighting. Hey, it's Donna. Hello, Donna. Thank you for being here. We will stay warm. It's not bad here. It's about 40, but the wind is 17, so very, very, very windy. So now we're going to have a little chat about these tricky trade-in programs that I know are ripoffs, and I know they don't work. Oh, it's 79 degrees! 79! Wow, that's hot. Good for you. We have these ridiculous trade-in programs, and I know they're a ripoff. My friends tell me they were a ripoff. For years I'd known they were a ripoff. I had never participated in them. And then, like in the last month, I've participated in 2 of them, and neither one is working. The first one, we got new iPhone, iPad, XP Pros, whatever it's called, the 14 Pro Max. Oh, and there's our notification that Donna's speaking to us. Very nice. Okay. So Verizon says, hey, your old phone, just send it in to us. And we'll give you I think it's $900 credit for 2 phones. Okay. Hey, that's a good deal. And they said, Don't worry about what shape it's in. If it's cracked, if it's bruised, if it's broken, we don't care. Just send it in, we'll credit you. Because I know from the past that people have tried that. I think Assurance, Assure, Ezion, Allrion, some processing company for Verizon, and they were famous for misplacing, not accepting, rejecting these trade-ins. So people would send in their phone and think they're getting $800 back, and they would find something wrong with it. They would say, well, we'll give you $300. And the people would say, I take care of my phone, it's this beautiful phone. It's not scratched. The screen is fine. Why did you drop it from 300 to 300 from 800? And there was no answer. You were just stuck with it. And you'd call in and try to get help, and they wouldn't help you. So then what do? So I always avoided the, hey, give us your old phone and we'll give you money back. It just didn't ever seem right from a business point of view. But this time, I fell for it. And I said, well, it seems easy enough. They'll send me a box. I put our 2 phones in the box and we get back all this money. Why not? So I did that. I sent it in weeks ago. 2 days, 3 days later, I received a text from Verizon saying, hey, we got your phones. Now we're processing them to see how much we're going to give you back. And they have not replied back. I don't know if they lost the phones. I don't know if they still have the phones. I don't know where the phones are. I don't know if we're going to get our money back, get our credit. But right now that we have no phone, Verizon has the phone. I have proof they have the phone because they said they had the phone. But we have no proof of how much they're giving us back. So you go online, you talk to your friends. They say, well, if you call in to Verizon and you can actually speak to somebody, which I guess now is very hard. They don't want you speaking to people. They want you speaking to robots. AI taking the world over. They want you to call in and, say I need a promo credit. And if you can talk to a person, they're usually pretty good about giving it to you. So I guess that's the next thing on my agenda is to try to call Verizon. And they say, don't call Verizon, the regular phone number. Call from inside the app. Go to the Verizon app, and there's, I guess, somewhere there where you can say, contact me, and they'll call you immediately. That's how you get a real person at Verizon. I guess we'll see. I have no clue if it'll work. But I don't look forward to it because you're really in a bad position. Hey, I sent in my phones. I got a notification back that you have my phones. Where's my credit? That's a big problem. And it doesn't lower your bill. Now, my second outrage is the same thing. Yes, I am learning that I've burned myself twice on these rebate things that I said I would never participate in the future. So Apple sends me a note saying, hey, your iPad's, you're really getting old. If you want to upgrade, we'll give you this great deal. And you send us your old iPad, and our iPads are old. We'll give you $150 back. Now, $150 in the scheme of a $3,000 package of an iPad is really nothing. Really not even worth the trouble. And in our building, to get UPS to come and pick up something, even though we have a concierge, we have a package department in the building, you can't just give it to the front desk and say UPS is going to pick it up. No. You have to give it to the front desk and say, and I have a pickup number. And for UPS just to come over to you from across the street to pick up your package is $20. $12.45 in gas fees alone. So Apple said, you know what? We'll send you a box. You just put it in the box, send it back to us. As long as the battery's good and as long as it's not broken, you get $150. Great. In my gut, I'm thinking, oh no. But I thought, okay, $150, send it back. Then I found out UPS is charging me $20, so now my $150 has gone from $150 to $130. The hassle of getting the box and putting it in the box, maybe another $50. So now we're down to like, $80 of a refund. So I send it in on Wednesday. What day is today? Friday. 2 days ago, I sent it in. $20 to ship it. And I get a notification. Accepted, delivered. Easiest $150 ever made in my life. Right? Pretty good, right? So last night, as I'm preparing myself for a deep and wonderful slumber, I get an email from Apple saying, hey, we have rejected your iPad turn-in. We are not refunding you any money. And in fact, we're sending back your old iPad. And I'm thinking, how is this possible? Why? The iPad is in perfect condition. It works. I use it every day as part of this live stream. It was my Twitter. I would check to see if we were online. It works. It's fine. It's great. No. They've rejected it. So I'm wondering, did things get mixed up? Are they really sending back my iPad, or are they sending back someone else's iPad? Because my iPad was perfect. My iPad is worth $150 trade-in value. So what do? Where do you go to get help? How do you fight this? Do a little quick online search. And you see a lot of people who have second thoughts saying, I really don't want to send in my iPad or my iPhone for a trade-in because I don't think it's going to work out. I've heard bad things about it. What happens if I don't send it back? And the answer is nothing. You don't have to send it back, because what they do is they credit your account for whatever you send it back. So there's nothing that has happened. It just gets sent back. That's good news, right? Not really. So I'm thinking, wow, let's say I get back my iPad and it's in perfect working order when I sent it in. And if it's mine, what do? Do I call Apple and spend an hour on the phone with them, half an hour on hold, explaining what happened, why did it get rejected, what is going on? And if I'm lucky, I guess they would say, oh, let us take a look at it and we'll send it and send it in again. And what if the same thing happens again? So I pay another $20 to send it in, another $100 of my time on the phone, package sent, and suddenly I'm in the hole, $30, trying to get $150 back. And so I've been thinking about all last night and all morning. I'm thinking, well, they're going to send this thing back to me. And is it even worth making a phone call? But on my record now, I guess with Apple, it's like, oh, this guy tried to rip us off. So we sent him back his iPad. My iPad's perfect. There's nothing wrong with my iPad. So what do? How do you fight back? How do you go against the machine that is running and churning against you? That's the question. These are the important totems of our day. So Verizon, Apple, the two delights of my life, honestly. I like Verizon. People complain about Verizon. We've been with Verizon since they were Bell Atlantic. Then they became NYNEX. Now they're Verizon. It's the old school telephone company in New York City. So we have been with them forever. There might be, cheaper, faster, better services around, but if you want solid performance that works pretty well, that has great building penetration, which is very important in New York City. You want to make a phone call wherever you are. Verizon serves you very well. And my new iPad is just terrific. I'm using it for everything. It's my main Discord communicator. But I'm very disappointed that they're sending it back. What a waste of time. If they said, hey, we're not taking your iPad and we're keeping it, I would have said, fine, keep it. I don't want it back. I have an iPad. You're going to send me back a broken iPad. You're going to send me back an iPad that doesn't work. You're going to send me back an iPad that's not mine because mine was perfect. And you're rejecting it. Doesn't make any sense to me. Really doesn't make any sense at all. So that's where we are so far today. It's time for our very first break of the day. And let's see, we'll be talking about Ticketmaster. When we return. Sounds like an interesting form of art. And so we shall return in a moment. Okay, so hey, we are back here on Bowls TV. It's BOLES, not television. It's Bowls.tv. Magic trick again, in the dark. Can see nothing. Right. Cover up the light to see the rest of the room. Doesn't make any sense. I can never wear this shirt again. So I guess we're enjoying it while we can. Ridiculous. So we've done our magic trick. We talked about the big fight we're having with Verizon and Apple. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Ticketmaster. And this is going to be even weirder to look at because as I bring this up, the screen is very bright and I'm very dark. I like myself. Now I fit. So our good friend Bob Lefsetz is a wonderful guy. Has some kind of weird skin problem. I don't know if it's cancer, but he is surviving. His girlfriend is Henry Mancini's daughter. And he writes a lot about music. Excuse me, there's something going on here. What is going on? Oh, I'm getting so much information coming in. Very interesting, very different. I thought it was something from Apple, but it's not. It's just more PR information. So Bob Lefsetz talks about the music business a lot. And he's quite wonderful. And Ticketmaster, I guess, was trying to sell tickets to the Taylor Swift concerts. I guess it's a tour. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, so I really have no idea about anything about her. But I know she's selling a lot of tickets. And I guess Ticketmaster said that, Wednesday at 2 o'clock, when tickets went on sale, they had 4 billion requests for tickets. Now, that's a lot of requests. They said it's 4 times as many requests as they've ever had in the history of Ticketmaster. And I ask, and so does Bob, why did you not predict this? Hecky, Taylor Swift is big, has a lot of fans, even old man fans in Florida. But they didn't. And I think they sold that day, was it 2 million tickets? And then they put everything on hold because all of these requests were melting down the servers. Now, of those 3 billion, 4 billion requests that they said they had, I have a feeling that 3 billion of them were bots. And a very small percentage was actual real people trying to get in. Because real people cannot beat a bot, ever. Because bots are not human, they are machines. Build a better bot, you build a better future. So here's Bob writing about Ticketmaster. Well, come on, what next? Everybody should be entitled to a new iPhone, the day it comes out? Yes. Every automobile in the lineup at sticker price with no wait? Yes. Oh, it takes time to make physical product, and it takes time to update software, too. Yeah. Bob? Yes, this was a learning experience for Ticketmaster. They will have to upgrade their underlying software in order to make sure this, 3 billion requests at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, does not happen again. Maybe it's a matter of employing additional servers, too. Is this unheard of? Even Spotify has outages once and again. Oops, another monopoly, in this case, hurting all the artists, right? It's a big problem. So you couldn't get front row seats to Taylor Swift at face value because you're up against the bots. You can't even buy a Rolex at face value anymore. What's out there has been peeled off by independent distributors and bots. They call it the market, and demand exceeded supply. That's it. This is a story about the status of Taylor Swift, not the status of Ticketmaster. But we've got Amy Klobuchar and other elected officials trying to say they're going to crack down on Ticketmaster. Who else are they going to crack down on? Every site that goes down? Not even for a full day? Come on now, it happens on a regular basis. So it's a difficult situation. I guess Taylor Swift should not be as popular as she is. You can't have tickets without concerts. And the other way around. For all the BS about the old days when you lined up, first and foremost, the first person in line didn't even get front row seats. And then, to create order, they'd shuffle the order of those in line via movie theater ticket numbers. I remember lining up, getting my number, going to breakfast, coming back 2 hours later to buy my tickets for Springsteen's River tour 40 years ago. And believe me, not only did I not sit in the front row, I wasn't even on the floor. And I'd gotten to Tower Records just after sunrise. But now I can buy tickets anywhere with my smartphone, and physical is history, and I can transfer the money via the same smartphone. As for going back to the good old days, they were not that good. The acts, not Ticketmaster, are responsible for all of this. The act, Taylor Swift, sets the ticket price. The acts, Taylor Swift, create the large fees. Ticketmaster is paid to take the heat and to be the bad guy. Because the acts don't want their fans to hate them. Even worse, the fans don't hate them even when they're told the acts are at fault. They just do not believe it. We live in a computerized world of ones and zeros. It's bothering me that I can't even see my face. But I'm going to put this on. Let's see how it works. We'll try. Try to make the best of it. Oh, I'm already lightening up. So silly. There's nothing to debate here, nothing to talk about. Everyone inside knows that Ticketmaster is the best way to sell tickets. They're the only company that can come anywhere near being able to handle the demand. I wish everyone would shut the F up. There's no villain here, just an incredibly successful pop star in a company that was caught off guard by demand. But nobody wants to believe me. There must be a villain behind it all, someone out to get them, but no. And there you have it. And then, as Bob sometimes does, he shares his mailbag with us. So these are other people who are kind of caught in the middle of the Taylor Swift dilemma. Weird. Every time a kerfuffle happens with Leave and Ticketmaster, people dump the stock. It drops $5 to $10. And I grab some more. It always creeps back up, and I sell it, and they report it. Blowout quarters. This has been updated since I first put it out there. Here's the Ticketmaster information. Elon Musk, which we're going to be discussing very briefly in a moment. So Bob says, you really can't blame him, can't blame Taylor Swift. It's just the way it is. Here's another interesting article. Could AI art be illegal? Getty Images thinks so. Is it possible? Could there be a legal concern? Recognizing the advantages that AI-generated art presents, some businesses, such as Shutterstock, are looking to capitalize on AI art. Such algorithms could quickly be used to generate high-quality visual content that would then go on to be used by customers in websites, videos, and other consumable media. Furthermore, if customers are given access to AI, they could generate images specific to their needs, bypassing the need for digital artists. However, there are those, such as the CEO of Getty Images. They believe that AI-generated images not only pose a serious threat to artists and digital creators, but may even present legal challenges. As stated before, one of the biggest challenges researchers faced with the first AI generation systems was having access to large amounts of data. In the case of artistic AI images, the internet provides access to untold quantities of images that can train itself. In fact, AI artists can be trained against specific artists, so it produces a drawing style similar to the original artist. But that is the history of art. People see something, they're inspired by it, they draw a line in the similar way, they paint with the same sort of intention and texture. And is that copying? Is that stealing? Or is that inspiration? It's an interesting question. So, hey, Microsoft and NVIDIA are building a brand new AI supercomputer. 2 years ago, Microsoft announced a partnership with OpenAI. The AI lab, with which it has a close commercial relationship, to build with a tech giant called an AI super-duper computer running in the Azure cloud, containing over 285,000 processor cores and 10,000 graphics cards. Microsoft claimed at the time it was one of the largest supercomputer clusters in the known world. Well, they're not stopping there. Now, they're going even bigger. In a blog post, Microsoft and NVIDIA said that the upcoming supercomputer that they are building together will feature hardware like NVIDIA's Quantum 2 400 gigabytes a second InfiniBand networking technology and recently detailed H100 GPUs. Current Azure instances often offer previous gen NVIDIA A100 GPUs paired with Quantum 200 gigabyte a second InfiniBand networking. Very technical, very confusing. The insatiable demand for powerful AI training infrastructure has led to an arms race of sorts, arming cloud and hardware vendors. Just this week, Cerebras, which has raised over $720 million in capital to date, at an over $4 billion valuation, unveiled a 13.5 million core AI supercomputer called Andromeda. It claims can achieve more than 1 exaflop of AI compute. Google and Amazon continue to invest in their own proprietary solutions, offering custom-designed chips, TPUs, and Trainium for accelerating artificial intelligence in the cloud. I don't think it's going to be coming to a store near you anytime soon. So here we go. A writer's new best friend, AI. And we've discussed this before. We have written articles, blog posts, commercials, proprietary information using AI. We just plug in a few ideas into the AI machine, and it gets kicked back out at us for use. Could the next Leo Tolstoy or Jane Austen be a well-engineered AI software program? Hey, it's a question that's becoming increasingly pressing as machine learning software continues to evolve. No one likes to face their own possible obsolescence, especially not writers, who prefer to believe that literary talent is unique and irreplaceable. Much of this is just nerves. Today's AI creative writing programs are not yet at a stage of development where they pose a serious threat to Charles Dickens. But while attention continues to focus on the possibility of a blanket takeover of human literature by AI, far less consideration has been given to the impending prospect of collaboration between humans and AI. It's all a scenario that is either here or hovering around the corner. So here's an example of a computer writing something. What do we think of it? This poem below, composed on the subject of Twitter in the style of T.S. Eliot, indicates that learning and replicating the signature voice of a poet may not be as hard as it once seemed. Upon the platform of the efficacious tweets, we stand together, faceless and bereft of all identity but that which is supplied by the retweet button and the follow. We are the retweeted and the followed, the anonymous and the nameless, the contentless and the formless, the bereft of all significance. I thought it was pretty bad. Not very convincing. Didn't feel like T.S. Eliot to me at all. Well, despite the telltale signs of a machine hard at work in an unfamiliar terrain, examples, the efficacious tweets, the bereft, the cadence and the gloom are both passively Elitonian. I'm not sure about that. The author can imagine this poem passing a Turing test. Has a text been created by a human or a machine quite easily? I don't think so. That seemed very machine-driven to me. It didn't seem very human. It didn't seem to have a lot of spirit. In the 1970s, Barbara Cartland wrote more than 723 books in her lifetime. Many of them romance bestsellers, and she would just dictate her novels for her secretary to type up at the remarkable rate of roughly 7 chapters a week, so a chapter a day. But already word processors and dictation software have replaced the role of the assistant. Maybe creative writing software isn't that far to create another Barbara Cartland today. That, I believe, is probably true, and it's on its way. And it's coming for you. And now it's time for our next break. This is going to be an interesting conversation when we return. Yeah, we're going to have a Twitter conversation about, the Twitter. Is Twitter doomed and done? Aha, that is our next topic. Returning in a moment. Hey, hey, we are back here on Bowls.tv. Oh, it's BOLES.television, and we're in the dark today because our camera cannot keep up with the whiteness of our shirt. So we do a magic trick. So dumb. I can never wear this shirt again. Now, maybe I can get a black shirt. Nebraska does have black shirts that you can wear, but it will probably have the same trouble. So now you can see the room. It's so dumb. Hey, it's Friday. Having fun with the camera. So have you heard what's going on with Twitter? Oh my gosh, what a mess this is. Oh, it's a big mess. It's sort of hard to even know where to begin. So we'll begin where we begin again, with our good friends over at Empty Wheel. And this is really a great sort of roundup of the insanity that has become Twitter. 3 things Twitter death watch in progress. And it does feel that way. Like in the last day and a half, it feels people are finally getting up and moving. George Takei, Sulu of Star Trek fame, very big presence on Twitter, left. He's now on Mastodon, and he said in one day, he got 26,000 people following him on Mastodon. That's big. Now, what that means is for the Mastodon servers, which are owned by regular tiny people, this is what happens. This is my Mastodon server. I can't get in. I have 500 errors and 503 errors. That means you cannot reach the site. There's trouble loading. Yeah. This is what the day is. So, Twitter losing millions of people. Millions of people are moving over to Mastodon. And Mastodon is not keeping up. They are being overwhelmed by people escaping from Twitter. So I escaped a week ago. Everything was going really well until this morning, where you can't reach it at all. The server is down. The server is dead. Reload the page. This site cannot be reached. This could be hyperbole, but it's difficult to imagine a social media platform the size of Twitter surviving nearly 90% loss of employees across the organization in a 3-week time frame. That's exactly what's going on. Elon Musk yesterday decided to threaten all of his current employees by saying you're going to be working 80-hour weeks. You're going to be sitting in your office all day and you're going to be working. And if you don't want to do this as part of Twitter 2.0, then click this other button. You're fired and you'll get 3 months of severance. And from what I'm understanding is about 80 people. About 80 people, not 80 people, 80% of the people who got that nasty email said, give me my 3 months, I'm out of here. I don't want to work for you. Which I guess surprised Elon. Well, why wouldn't you want to work for me? I'm the greatest guy in the world. Here we go. Thursday was the deadline for Twitter owner Elon Musk's. He set it for the remaining Twitter employees to commit to being hardcore. They were supposed to have clicked or not clicked by 5 p.m. Termination, severance. Many people are choosing to walk away. They said their goodbyes. 88% of the staff of Twitter was there and then not there after Musk took over on October 27th. They've either been fired or they've opted to just leave on their own, take the severance. The number of employees which may fall into this category could be about 1,000 who are left. And here we get into the meat of it all. And these are screenshots, not actual tweets, which you can embed because who knows how long Twitter's going to be up. A lot of people are saying Twitter's going to die on Sunday because that is when the World Cup begins, and that is the most intense use of Twitter across the world ever, is when the World Cup is going on. And the Twitter servers will not be able to keep up with it all. Twitter just alerted employees that effective immediately, all office buildings are temporarily closed and badge access is suspended until Monday. We're hearing this is because Elon Musk and his team are terrified of employees are going to sabotage the company. All offices will open on the 21st, and so far no Twitter employees have been deactivated, probably because he doesn't know how. And those tweets leave open the possibility that some employees who opted to leave may just be asked to stay. Twitter's InfoSec team is almost entirely gone. 2 people tell me, either laid off 3 weeks ago or today refused to sign up for Elon's ultimatum. 2 people that the entirety of Twitter's payroll department has resigned. Not elected to sign up for Elon 2.0. In addition to the payroll team being gone, Twitter's entire U.S. tax team is also gone, along with its financial reporting team. Elon Musk called in the SpaceX CFO for some meetings and calls held today to try to convince people to stay by pitching Musk's vision for Twitter. It didn't work. Some people are still around in accounting, though, I'm told. So, as Empty Wheel asks, how does a company operate without any payroll? Twitter has no information security personnel, no documented plan in place for dealing with this scenario, let alone failures all along the way for handling the rollout of Twitter Blue verification, which I don't think will ever come back. Twitter could also be hammered hard by the Federal Trade Commission for failing to meet the terms of its 2011 consent agreement. I don't think it'd be unreasonable to say the FTC has grounds to shut Twitter down right now if no users or advertisers' data is secure. That's what I was told. Get in there, get into Twitter, ask for your archive. That means you have the right to download everything you've ever put on Twitter, and they have to provide it to you. I requested mine last night after the meltdown because everyone was melting down on Twitter last night. And I didn't get my archive link. And so I asked other people on Mastodon, did you get your archive link? They said, yeah, eventually, but it took 3 days. And I asked 10 days ago. Now I'm thinking Twitter's going to, start dimming on Sunday. So let's see. Friday, Saturday. I might make it. I might not make it. Taking any money from advertisers at this point, let alone users for Twitter verification or Twitter Blue, would shortchange them if they expected data security. And another friend of mine said, look, go in there and everything that you have given access to your Twitter account, and there are a lot of things, because as I said on my Twitter account this morning and on Mastodon, there are a lot of underlying things that are pinned to your Twitter account. like on OpenSea, Rarible, you can verify your identity by linking your Twitter account. Now, if Twitter dies, what happens to that verification that's been in place for years? Does it die too? How are you going to re-verify? What are you going to use? Facebook? What other APIs out there that can verify your identity? That's what Twitter did. It's very unfortunate. So I went in there and I had like 30 things that were connected to my Twitter account, and I deleted like 25 of them because they were either outdated or they weren't critical. And there are a few things that are critical mass that have to remain there. But if, someone's going to break into your Twitter account and mess with you, you're going to have trouble. Make sure you have security locked down on your Twitter account, because it doesn't appear things are safe. People were complaining online that their private conversations, because you can make your account private, were being indexed and made public yesterday. This is a really big deal. Twitter made huge strides towards a more rational internal security model, and backsliding will put them in trouble with the FTC, SEC, and 27 EU DPAs and a variety of other regulators. This is a serious risk of a breach with drastically reduced staff. Replying to someone who said, according to messages shared in Twitter Slack, Twitter's CISO, Chief Primary Office, and Chief Compliance Office all resigned last night. An employee said it will be up to engineers to self-certify compliance with FTC requirements and other laws. That's scary stuff. As Alex Stamos, Facebook's former CISO, notes in his Twitter thread, it's not just the FTC whom Musk and Twitter will be in trouble. Twitter's former outside counsel, Rihanna Peppercorn, agrees there are big problems and has more to add. And we'll get to that in a minute. But Elmo, Elon Musk's response to all of this is a meme that he stole of Twitter being buried and dead. And it makes you wonder why. What's going on? What master is Elon Musk serving? Because he's not serving himself. And the next analysis we'll see, I'm not sure if any of it makes sense, but I'll share it with you. And then they go on yesterday that Elon Musk is a fraud, that he said he had degrees that he did not have. If you are a regular Twitter user, you may wish to see something constructive done soon. There are entire communities of people who just can't switch to another platform like Mastodon because they've all had small businesses built up around their Twitter presence. There are minority groups who have had difficulty switching to different platforms. Without Twitter, they lose contact with others in their community. So this is the analysis of what's really going on. Why is he allowing this to happen? And this author cannot help but think of two possibilities. Oil-producing countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, financed a considerable portion of Musk's purchase of Twitter, with Prince Al Walid being the second largest investor. Did they do it for an investment? For access to a media space to promote their agenda? Or because they saw a way, here we go, or because they saw a way to screw with one of the most popular electric car manufacturers by giving its compromised CEO the means to go F himself. Now that's pretty complex. That the oil-producing countries of the world saw an opportunity to go sink Elon Musk and his electric car company, bankrupt him, get him out of the way, so Tesla is out in the cold, has no future. And they keep all of their money because they are the oil producers of the world. That's an interesting theory. And then we have another theory, which I don't find quite as interesting because maybe I don't understand it. Text messages produced as part of discovery in Twitter's lawsuit against Musk included messages between Musk and his ex-wife, Tallulah Jane Riley, in which she begged him to buy Twitter and delete it, put it out of business, because Twitter had banned conservative satire site Babylon Bee. Riley had discussed the banning with her close friend Raya bint al-Hussein, the wife of British journalist Ned Donovan, and half-sister to King Abdullah II of Jordan. Why would a British actress like Riley be so upset about an American conservative website's banning by a U.S. social media platform? I don't know. That one doesn't make sense to me. And I think there are other ways to destroy Elon Musk by the oil-producing companies than, helping him buy Twitter so they can crush him. None of that makes any sense to me. But what do I know? I'm sitting here with towels on me so my camera doesn't freak out. I don't know. But you know what? It's all going to come out in the wash, as they say. So now it gets really interesting, where we take a look at the comments. Now let me just reload this because this site does a lot of comments. Boosted on Mastodon Social. I don't know if Justin Wolfers is on Mastodon. Okay, there's nothing. Bringing together the mayhem I witnessed last night on Twitter. Someone must have been reading things. It seems the TLS certificate was renewed on the 14th. Probably by someone who is no longer there. One last good deed on their way out the door. It didn't expire until next month. They just assumed no one would be around to handle it. That Internet Archive thread about Elon lying about his background and credentials is really interesting. It's not that he told lies to his pals or the media or to the world. What will bite him is that he lied to the SEC. That puts people in danger. Fines, prohibitions, and even jail. Musk has a number of federal contracts. He operates in a number of federally regulated domains. Senior staff at those contracting and regulating departments and agencies aren't blind to Musk's apparent erratic behavior and the potential for this to spill over into their lanes. What kind of communication is going on now among contraction auditors? And the author of the piece says, that's right, federal contracts. He's misrepresented himself. It's not the erratic behavior they're likely writing off as rich people stuff or being on the spectrum. Elon has Asperger's, so he's on the autism spectrum. The problem is they probably didn't know about the lies because they've been swept up and glossed over by so many people who want a piece of the hype that built the persona that is Musk. Am I the only one who thinks Elon's purchase of Twitter has nothing to do with money and everything to do with consolidating power? His backers in this are almost all foreigners and primarily Middle Eastern. They have a vested interest in leveraging the dollar. What we have is a real-life Bond villain. The ends justified the means, and he'll push for them until he's stopped. Twitter may be just a piece of a larger machine that he is building. I personally subscribe to the theory that he bought it to let the Saudis steal every bit of data they could, and then he would have to destroy it to cover the theft. And then somebody says, I'm sorry, but do you have any evidence for that? If so, make it known. Someone on another site said, Elon's behavior is typical of someone who's not getting enough sleep. Now, that could be laughable, but it could also be very true. Irritability, snap decisions, poor reasoning. Musk famously gets by on 4 hours a night, which is not enough. But that's not sustainable into middle age, very true, which is rapidly approaching for him. He needs at least 7 hours of sleep. His behavior might also be explainable by overconsumption of certain substances, but I've got no evidence for that. So the comments are very interesting, and people seem to be trying to figure out what exactly is going on with this Twitter dilemma. And now we're going to take a break and then come back and dig even deeper into it. More on Twitter coming up next. Digging into Twitter data when we return. I'm here on Bowles TV. Hey, it's BOLES.TV. I'm David Bowles. Nice to have you with us today. It's a very strange day as we try to dig into what's going on with Twitter. And in preparing the show, I always take a look. I have to do my music, my magic trick here. Because my new internet camera does not like my white top. So I have to cover it up. And now we can see my beautiful face. You prepare for a live show, you find links, things you want to talk about, things you want to share. And when they disappear within an hour, you're thinking something's up. Something is unripe. So let's go back to the live show. So this is my Mastodon instance. As I said last night, Twitter was melting down. People were very, very upset. Saying goodbye. Twitter's over. Elon Musk is running into the ground. 90% of the staff have quit or been fired. There's no one left to run the haunted house. And a lot of people are moving to Mastodon. And I moved there a week ago. It's been pretty good. As you can see, today I can't get in. It's locked down. It looks like it's being overwhelmed with an influx of Twitter refugees, which could be a good thing. I'll reload the site. Not working. Click reload. It's not there. Can I do a hard shift? Clear the cache type of thing? Is it possible? Will it be done? Now it loaded. Be very, very quiet. One of it. Somebody boosted my post. Yes, that's good. What did I say? This is what I said on Mastodon. Have you requested your archive from Twitter? If yes, how long did it take to download to arrive? If the bird really goes down for the forever count, this will change the way the unofficial archive of the world is stored and propagated. Very true. Federated Mastodon may be the answer for the future. But when the preserved past is lost, Twitter, there's no going back to retrieve the moments that will now always be missing from the rest of us. It would be great to somehow upload and republish your Twitter archive. And it appears you can do that. If you ever get your Twitter archive, you can upload it to your own server in its own directory. And it should just load all your tweets. I'm not sure how it works. I've never done it before. But it would be great to try to make it happen. So it looks like the server, meow, is back up for now. What about the rest of it? So here are some threads that are still on Twitter. Some people have said they're being blocked. They're being shadow banned. This is not how this works. This is not how any of this works. This person says, I used to be Twitter's outside counsel, and I spent some time on loan from my firm to the in-house legal team in 2014. But I have little personal knowledge, no privilege insight about their security controls. As this story shows, the world's richest man does not experience human concerns. Well, that's his Asperger's. The exceedingly rich were no longer even remotely human. Normal companies have security and privacy controls and care about legal compliance. But this, Twitter, is not normal. That's what people are worried about. The chief twit, that's what Elon calls himself, his track record shows, but that's illegal, isn't usually a persuasive argument for him. So too here. In 2011, Twitter agreed to a 20-year FTC consent order over its data security practices. In May, the FTC fined Twitter $150 million for violating the 2011 order and issued a bona fide order. If Twitter so much as sneezes, it has to do a privacy review. So that's something that still, if I refresh the page, is on Twitter. Amazing, right? And now isn't this interesting? This is the Internet Archive of a thread that has been removed. I read it. I linked it right before we went live with the show. Where is it? So if I click on the capture, is the Internet Archive going to show it to me, or is it gone forever? Saved one time on November 10, 20, and 22. We'll click on it and see if it takes us there. Does it take us there, yes or no, young man? Waiting for the web archive. Is it loading? And I think this was like lawyer stuff, legal stuff. How is the web archive being erased? Very, very interesting. And a little concerning. Here's another thread. Okay, F this guy. There aren't a lot of tools we have at our disposal, but call your senator. Support the Democrat call for an FTC investigation. Make Elon's life miserable. And worrying where we're going to find each other next? While Elon's cackling and trying to tweet through his panic at unintentionally watching 80% of his workers leave. Here are the things we can do right now to hold Musk accountable. Follow the work of accountable techs. They're a working tech coalition that continued to pressure Twitter advertisers to ensure content moderation stays in place. 2, call on the Senate Subcommittee on Communications to investigate Musk. 3, support the letter led by Senator Richard Blumenthal, calling on the FTC to investigate Musk's practices at Twitter. And here's a script that you can use for your senator. So that's good. That's educational. So let me just reload this page and see if this page is still here or has it been removed. So far, it appears it's still there. I'm so angry. He ruined so many people's lives casually. Like a 14-year-old edgelord S poster who doesn't think this is reality. Yeah, there's something very weird going on that doesn't make any sense. If you're going to take down Twitter, it doesn't make sense that Elon would do it himself. It doesn't make any sense. He would hire someone who is incompetent to run it into the ground over, let's say, the next month or two instead of 3 weeks. Blame that person. Leave his $44 billion behind, and I guess make it up on the back end with people who wanted him to kill Twitter. I don't know. And where will Twitter people go? They don't seem like they want to go to Facebook. Some people are saying, I'll see you on Instagram, but that's not a conversation place. Tribal Social is another option, but most people seem to be going to Mastodon. But it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. So this is what I've been doing. 45.2 followers. Now, when all this started 10 days ago, I had 47.6. I now have about 2,500 fewer followers. That isn't terrible. I know people who've lost 1,000 followers a day. Now, were those followers bots? I don't think they were bots of mine because mine's remained pretty steady, and I did a big exhumation of all the bots from my follows 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So I'm pretty confident that those aren't a lot of bots. So that makes me think that 25 people who are leaving my follower count are leaving Twitter. And that's unfortunate. Because I put a lot of time to get that number up. There are a lot of tweets. Does it say how many things I've posted? It used to, somewhere. How many tweets you've had? Oh, here, up here. Is it good or is it bad? It says at the very top, which you can't see, 26.7 thousand tweets. And for what? And do I really want to publish all those tweets? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. But I'd like to have the opportunity. So I guess that's what's going on with my archive is the mega computers are downloading and consolidating 26.7 thousand tweets for me, which will probably result in about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 zip files that it will have to unpack somehow, somewhere. So this is us. Hey, we're live. At least we were live. Are we live or are we Memorex? Hey, we're live. With our ridiculous looking towel. So stupid. This is the error I'm getting. I cannot reach my Mastodon server, but of course they're fixing it. This is a concern that Twitter has an early death. And the identification that we've been using third-party sites that, hey, I'm a valid person, here's my Twitter account. And my Twitter account happens to be verified, the original gangster verification. What's going to happen to that? There are people who create software that allow you to go in there and, react with Twitter. They're going to be out of business. There's a lot going on here that needs to be unpacked and unfolded. And as people online say, if Twitter were a EU company, this would never be allowed to happen. But America's the Wild West. Anything goes. Do whatever you want to do. Even if it means destroying an entire ecosystem of social media. Who cares as long as we're making money? That's the only thing that matters in America. How much are you worth? It's a sad day. So this I posted last night. I actually got out of bed to put this up because it seemed like Twitter was ending last night. And this was right after I got my email from Apple saying that they were rejecting my iPad. So I was like, oh man, how can I calm down enough to go to bed? And the reason I did this is because of what I'm going to share with you next. This is a very interesting service called Find Verified Journalists on Mastodon. PressCheck.org is the name of the website. And this is what they do. They verify people who are verified on Twitter, and I guess they verify them in some way on Mastodon. So you can post a link to a tweet from your verified account with your Mastodon email address. And eventually, I'm sure they're overloaded now, they will get around to you and I guess verify you somehow on Mastodon so people can know, oh, that's the journalist, writer, person that I knew on Twitter. He's the same guy over here on Mastodon. Now, I know that's confusing and it doesn't make any sense. But that's what we're doing so far. Trying to make connections, trying not to lose what we had all gained. And it's not just me. This is from The Atlantic. We'll sign in. Now I have to find my password. But these are a couple of very interesting articles. Twitter's slow and painful end. And it says, I'll put this link on our Discord server, as I will put all the links we discussed today. All these squares with the nightmare scenarios for Twitter I wrote about when Musk was taking power. One former senior employee suggested Musk may simply prioritize the site so it works great for celebrities and power users, knowing that Twitter once ran a dedicated server just to handle Justin Bieber's wildly popular account. And they did the same on Instagram. So these are all goodbye stories and about what Twitter meant to people who were important. A member of Twitter's early team and the company's former vice president of product expressed a similar sentiment this week. We had this joke about how no one really could describe what Twitter was, but that we knew it was a market leader in tweets. If you wanted tweets, you had to come to Twitter. Which is also why I think it'll survive in some incredibly stupid way. That's going to be very interesting to see what happens next. But that was yesterday. This morning is this very interesting article. I have to reload it because I'm logged in now. What will writers do without Twitter? And there are a lot of authors who are on Twitter, and they use it to communicate with each other because a lot of them are dysfunctional, disconnected, lonely people. So they connect with each other and with the people that they like on Twitter. It gives them sort of a social life. People of color, people who live anywhere other than New York City, people who work day jobs, unrelated media, they can build an audience on Twitter. They can post links to their work on Twitter. They can attract attention of editors on Twitter. If a thread of theirs goes viral on Twitter, sometimes they can even get a book deal. A few years ago, the coronavirus pandemic forced a lot of writers into isolation. Twitter became even more important. Not nostalgic by nature, so if Twitter as we know it ends, I won't mourn. Not for myself anyway. It did plenty for me, I can't complain, but I worry for the writers who are just beginning, especially the outsiders. How will they break in? Up in New Hampshire, some of the far-flung outposts, a young writer is about to have a bad winter. And what will that author do? And she concludes by saying, my Twitter account never got big. I topped out at fewer than 10,000 followers. And then, when Musk bought the site, that number started falling. Twitter may have helped my career, but by the site's own metrics, I was not a huge success. Turns out my friend was wrong. I wasn't very good at Twitter after all. So this is where we are. Will it all end on Sunday? Will everything break up, collapse? Usually when things start falling apart by people who build them, it takes a little while for things to start to unravel. It doesn't happen all at one time in one big boom. It's a slow trickle of disintegration. And that's our show for today. A wonderful time. I thank you so much for being here. We've investigated a lot and we have invested a lot. And so much is changing. The rest of the afternoon is going to be wild. If you have any questions or concerns, you can email me, david@bowles.tv. On Twitter, at least for now, I'm at David Bowles. On Facebook, it's BOLES. Instagram is Bowles Books. And if you would like to visit us on our Discord server and join in the conversation, I certainly invite you to be there. You can do some AI art, you can have conversation, you can ask questions, and just hang out and read stuff. All of our conversation has been preserved there in our live chat area. So I hope you have a wonderful day, a good rest, a nice night, a good nap, some meditation, and when ye shall awaken, may your world be Twitter free or Mastodon occupied, whichever you prefer. Thank you. I'll see you again soon.